What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Jon Jones waiting 6 months to fight Tom Aspinall. Since Jon Jones' win over Stipe Miocic, there's been no real word on when or if a fight with Tom Aspinall will happen, beyond Dana White saying that the title unification fight is being targeted for this summer. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. According to what Ariel Helwani's hearing, a fight this summer is becoming increasingly unlikely because Jones wants a 6-month training camp. During an episode of the Ariel Helwani show this week, he shed light on the situation. The clock is ticking on that one. I was told that Jon wants 6 months to prepare once the fight is locked in. And what's 6 months from now? September? Now, I'm sure money talks, but it feels like if the summer is the goal, it's starting to slip away a little bit. The MMA community was quick to weigh in on the report, with mixed reactions. Some understand where Jones is coming from, given the magnitude of the title fight. Might be the biggest fight for Jones. He needs extra prep for Tom. Others weren't so understanding. If he needs 6 months to prepare, the summer window is closed. Why is he not already in training for him? Who else would he even have to prepare for besides Tom? I hope the UFC pays Tom for his patience so he can keep waiting, keep the pressure on JJ. Another member of the MMA community accused Jones of holding up the division. Wasting a whole year of Tom's prime, barring injury, the interim champ and champ gotta duke it out within 6 months. Dude holding back the division. Another added, casual MMA fans are leaving this sport in droves, and now the supposed pound-for-pound best fighter wants a 6-month training camp after fighting 2 times in 5 years. This year just keeps getting worse and worse. Some fans don't believe the fight will ever happen. Take 6 months, fake an injury and reschedule. Retire citing health difficulties and previous injuries taking their toll. Pretend that you wanted the fight all along to save face. Jon will never fight Tom. Another replied, the UFC is and no one can convince me otherwise. No one wants to fight each other. They complain about pay, then hug their opponents for 25 minutes, say they dominated, and demand a fight of the night bonus. The pay-per-views go until 3 a.m. when they could end around 12 a.m. All around show. If the fight doesn't get booked for the International Fight Week card, it'll be interesting to see who headlines the event. Magomed Ankalaev blocking Ariel Helwani on social media. Leading up to the UFC 313 Alex Pereira-Magomed Ankalaev fight, Ariel Helwani predicted that Poatan would be leaving Vegas with the belt. In a video shared on social media, he shared his thoughts on the fight, saying that he wouldn't be surprised if Pereira gets the finish. In the wake of Ankalaev's win, the newly minted champion hasn't forgotten about Helwani's comments. On Tuesday, he took to social media, calling out Pereira for a rematch whenever the former champion is ready. Alex, when you're ready to go again, you deserve this. Ariel Helwani then reposted Ankalaev's call-out along with a clapping emoji. In response, Ankalaev wrote, I don't like this fake big nose guy. I'm gonna block him. Based on the responses to Ankalaev's post, a number of fans are pretty convinced that it's actually Ali Abdelaziz posting from Magomed Ankalaev's account. Helwani then responded, and from the sounds of things, he thinks it's Ali too. Hi Ali, miss you too. In the past, Ali Abdelaziz notably used the same big nose line in regards to Helwani. Back in 2024, in response to Belal Muhammad laying into Helwani, Abdelaziz took to social media, calling Helwani a big-nosed coward before saying that he had blocked the MMA insider. Charles Oliveira wants to fight for BMF belt. Way back in 2015, Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway shared the octagon in Canada. At the time, what should have been an epic clash of featherweights wound up getting cut short when Oliveira fell to the canvas, clutching at his throat in the very first round. Now, all these years later, Oliveira is looking to run things back, but with the BMF belt on the line. During an interview with Oddspedia, Dubronx said that if he isn't going to fight for the lightweight title, then he wants to fight Max Holloway for the BMF belt. When we speak about legacy, we speak about being the champion, but BMF is about being the toughest guy, and that's what I consider myself to be in this division. I believe I've shown that, and having the BMF belt is the only thing that's missing. So far, no word yet from the UFC or Max Holloway. However, after being finished by Ilia Topuria and announcing his move up to 155, Holloway revealed that he's targeting a return on this summer's International Fight Week card. Sean Brady talks about Leon Edwards. This weekend, Sean Brady will return to the octagon for what may very well be the biggest fight of his professional career. After the UFC decided to pull Jack Della Maddalena from this headlining fight against Leon Edwards, Brady was tapped to step in. With a chance to pick up his 3rd victory in a row against a former champion, the stakes couldn't be higher for the streaking contender. Ahead of Saturday's card, Brady spoke with MMA Junkie's Mike Bond to discuss the bout, as well as recent comments from Edwards about being comfortable with fighting a grappler like him. That's where guys get surprised, like they see me, they're like, oh, he looks strong, this and that, but until you feel me and you feel my grip and my squeeze and my pressure that I put on you, it's gonna be different. He talks about how he always fighting grapplers, but he doesn't do great against them. While Edwards has never been submitted throughout his career, Brady believes that he can snatch anyone's neck, including the former champions. I always say if you have a neck, I can choke you out. So Leon's got a neck, I can choke him out for sure. Whether or not Brady will be able to become the first man to submit Leon Edwards, only time will tell. UFC updates. Ahead of this weekend's Edwards-Brady card at the O2 Arena in London, let's take a look at some UFC updates that might have flown under your radar, starting with the change to the UFC Vegas 105 card on April 5th. According to reports, Ariel has been forced out of her fight with Loma Lookboonmee and has been replaced by Istela Nunes, who will be making her return after a year-and-a-half-long hiatus, while in the middle of a 4-fight skid that's seen her go winless since joining the UFC in 2021. Shifting gears and looking ahead at the UFC Des Moines card in May, Don'Tale Mayes is reportedly set to throw down with Thomas Peterson in a heavyweight fight that'll see Mayes look to snap a 2-fight skid, and Peterson looked to bounce back from a loss to Shamil Gaziev last month. A few short weeks after that, Paul Craig will return to action at 205 against Rodolfo Bellato after a loss to Bo Nickal in November, which made it 3 losses in a row for him at middleweight. On the flip side, Bellato's fresh off an ultra-rare majority draw back in February against Jimmy Crute following a win over Ihor Potieria in his debut back in 2023. And last but not least, the UFC has shifted a fight between Ismail Nardiev and Jun Young Park from the May 17th card that was supposed to take place in Qatar to the June 21st card. Reinier de Reeder talks about Bo Nickal fight. When the Octagon hits Des Moines, Iowa on May 3rd, Bo Nickal will throw down with former one champ Reinier de Reeder. The fight will see Nickal look to get back into the top 15 against a seasoned veteran, while RDR looks to pick up his 3rd win in a row since joining the promotion. Ahead of the fight, RDR spoke with MMA Junkie to discuss the fight, saying that he actually hopes that Nickal uses his grappling so he can pick up his 3rd submission win in a row. I think my wrestling is pretty decent as well, and I really want to make him wrestle this time. Last fight he was just sticking and moving, throwing that wild overhand of his, and trying to make sure he didn't wrestle at all. But let's make it a wrestling match this time and see if we can get him to shoot a couple of times. Let's see if I can get his neck. While some fans were surprised by the booking, considering Dana White said that the UFC will move Nickal up the rankings slowly after his win over Paul Craig, Nickal revealed earlier in the week that he actually asked for this fight. As it turns out, part of the reason Nickal may have wanted this fight is because of the rivalry between American Top Team and what was the Blackzilians, but is now Cliff. The two teams have been natural rivals for years now, given that they're just 10 minutes apart in Florida, and several years back, the UFC poured fuel on the fire during TUF Season 21 when the two teams competed against one another. RDR spoke about the situation, saying, "Anybody who heard about the matchup tells me get that fool, so I don't know if it has to do with the gym or it has to do with him personally." From the sounds of things, it sounds like even if the Blackzilians are no more, there's some added fire heading into this one. Jan Blachowicz talks about shoulder injury. This weekend, Jan Blachowicz will return to action for the first time since the summer of 2023 when he steps into the octagon against Carlos Ulberg. After undergoing double shoulder surgeries, Blachowicz will be looking to not only get back in the win column, but also stake his claim for a crack at the newly minted champion Magomed Ankalaev. Leading up to the bout, Blachowicz made an appearance on SiriusXM's Fight Nation to discuss the shoulder surgeries that he went through while on the sidelines. It was very hard after the surgery because, like you say, I'm 42 years old and my body don't recover like when I was 30, so back to healthy was very hard, very tough. Like 3 months after surgery of the left shoulder, I feel worse than before surgery, and I say, what the is going on? It's something bad? Maybe they something up in my shoulder, I asked my physiotherapy guys, and they said, no, don't worry, you need more time, just wait. That was a very tough time, but finally, I wake up one day and I start moving my shoulders and I feel it. Okay, it's a little bit better. Now it's much better. Blachowicz also spoke in a video for the UFC about his desire to run things back with Magomed Ankalaev, who he fought to a split draw in 2022. I've got unfinished business with Ankalaev, but of course, I've got a job to do this Saturday, and I focus about this. But I believe I'm going to be a winner this Saturday, so maybe after that, I believe we have to finish what we started with Ankalaev. With a win, Blachowicz could wind up in the mix for a crack at the winner of the expected Ankalaev-Pereira rematch. Dana White's Boxing League payout. After the news of Dana White creating a boxing league, many people were wondering what the payout structure would look like. Today, it was revealed. According to Lance Pugmire, a trusted journalist, he put out the pay structure based on documents and contracts presented to fighters. As for the reports, they state the following: $20,000 for a 10-round bout by an unranked fighter, $50,000 when ranked by the company at number 5 to 10, $125,000 when ranked by the company at number 3 to number 4, $375,000 when challenging for company championship, $750,000 when defending company championship. They're also guaranteeing boxers that Dana White and TKO will give them 4 opportunities to fight a year, similar to the UFC. Do you think this pay structure will work in boxing? Let us know down in the comment section below. Concerns rise for UFC PPV going down at shocking rates. During UFC 313, some fans were not able to purchase and watch the pay-per-view, and this sparked reports that ESPN and the UFC were having issues with their negotiations. And before we continue, we have a favor to ask. Help us reach 200,000 subscribers on MMA Zone by subscribing and turning on notifications for daily MMA content. Seriously, we rarely miss a day. Then we reported earlier this week that Eric Richter from the New York Post Sports was reporting that UFC pay-per-view buys were at an all-time low, and that fighters weren't even being incentivized with pay-per-view points anymore because the money from them is so low. Now, new reports suggest that UFC pay-per-view sales have been declining at an alarming rate, much faster than previously expected. And there could be some validity here because the UFC is now doing whatever they can to earn money. They are now adding stake ads to their official free fight series on YouTube. Before, they only had limited sponsorships to the UFC embedded series during Fight Week, and now they're adding it to fights posted on YouTube. The MMA community weighed in on the pay-per-view situation with ESPN. Here's what they had to say. Stake logos on official UFC videos now, LOL. Pay-per-views must be in the gutter, cause everyone is just watching from free links now instead of paying $80. UFC is missing big stars and oversaturated the market with mediocre fights. They're too expensive, on top of requiring an ESPN Plus subscription. In my opinion, they would be better making the fights more viewable to more people and more often. Make a cheaper sub, such as $120 per year to view all fights. Other sports such as NFL would have never gotten as large as they are if all of the games were on pay-per-view. Economy is tanking, UFC charging $80 per pay-per-view. No one's gonna buy an pay-per-view with one or two big fights over groceries. Too many Apex events has led to a decline in engagement. Matchmaking has been questionable, i.e. Kai Asakura, Colby, Aspinall defense. Russian link stream quality always works better than pay-per-view. $80 pay-per-view, decreased price, increased demand. Boring champions. UFC's pay-per-view decline ties to a star power drought. No new McGregors or Rouseys. Champs like Pereira and Makhachev shine in the cage but lack mainstream pull. UFC's marketing isn't building the next big draw. UFC is more popular than ever. Pay-per-view sales are down because of piracy. UFC needs to ditch the legacy pay-per-view model and become a paid streaming service with main cards included in the subscription. I'd pay $14.99 a month, no problem. If pay-per-views were $39.99, piracy wouldn't be an issue. The real problem? Corporate greed. Once a grassroots org pushing boundaries, now just another publicly traded company prioritizing investors over fans. Mass production over quality. The soul of the sport is the cost.